Hey there folks, I'm Bryce Holdaway, he is Ben Kingsley. We are the hosts of The Property Couch, and today we are going to do a listener question. Hopefully it benefits you, but it's all about where should I park my surplus cash, Ben?
Yes, big questions.
Which is a good one. So we get lots of questions that come out from our listeners of The Property Couch. So this is one of them, and this is from Lisa. Hi team, love the podcast, keep up the great work. I would love your take on where I should allocate additional cash in my split mortgage loans. Hence the topic, Ben. Where should I park my surplus cash? Yes. So, Lisa, this is all for you. Are you going to draw this on the run?
I am going to draw this on the run.
Okay. I have one investment property, Ben.
Right, here we go.
And got to put plenty of sunshine behind here, Ben, because it's in Queensland.
Queensland, okay. Value. Debt, we'll get to, and an equity.
There's a method to your madness here, right? So here we go. With a split loan setup. Okay. One is principal and interest.
Okay.
For $115,000, Ben. Do you want interest rate?
115. No, don't really care much about interest rate.
Okay. Yep. With an offset.
Right.
And this component, Ben, here, is secured against my mother-in-law's place. Lisa, you have a wonderful mother-in-law.
Right, yeah. Okay, so that's secured. So
this here.
Okay, got that.
Dotted to show it's actually not their property.
Secured against that. P&I, got it. Yep, okay.
All right. The other, Ben, the other part of the split is an interest only over a 5-year period with $365,000 owing and no offset.
Okay, that's fine. So a big home loan over here.
Yep.
Okay, so this is, let's call that L1. Let's call that L2. So this is L1. That's L2. Got it? Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. So the property value, Ben,
here
we go, is $456,000.
Rightio. Got it.
And it's getting, I'll even contribute on this one, it's getting $400.
$400
per week in rent.
Okay. So we can now tally up a couple of numbers here.
Yep.
So our overall debt, what do we got there? That's 480.
480,000.
Okay. 480. So technically, we're actually negative equity 24K.
Yep.
At this stage, but that's all right. Now, bearing in mind, we'll hear more of the question, because if I've got an offset against my investment property, if I own another property, which is my principal place of residence, that offset is where all your surplus cash should go.
Yep.
Every dollar, and all the rent should be going into your principal place of residence home loan, and then money will be flowing out of that primary account as per our Money Smart system. But for this one, doesn't sound like we've got a principal home. Sounds like we might be rent vesting. So this is the story here.
Offset money needs to go against your most expensive debt, Ben.
Correct.
So we're assuming this is the most expensive debt at the moment, aren't we? So I am concerned with getting the LVR, Ben, loan to valuation ratio, down to 100%, which will require $24,000 cash injection. And we'll likely be doing this over a maximum of 12 months while still building up the offset account.
Yes.
I am wondering what loan is better off with the additional funds, Ben. Is it this one or is it this one?
Yep.
I understand that putting money into the offset account is beneficial for the 120K. With 120.
Well, 115, maybe it's 120.
Yeah.
She might already have $5,000 in here.
Yes, true.
Because that wouldn't make sense.
But what about the $365,000? This loan is going to turn into a principal and interest loan in 4 years. I've had the loans 1 year.
5 years interest only. We're down to 4 years, and then it'll go into P&I. Got it? Okay.
Is it going to be beneficial to put the additional cash directly off the $365,000 loan to reduce the overall principal and therefore reduce the P&I repayment in 4 years, all whilst reducing my LVR? Yep. Or is it more beneficial to put the 24K off the 120K loan, which we've got 115, reducing my LVR and reducing the payments for the loan immediately, noting this is the loan with the highest interest rate, but not by much. Thank you so very much, Lisa.
Okay, so a couple of questions going on here in terms of what you would do. The big story here for me is I would definitely be putting that surplus into the offset account. Now, why would I be doing that? Is one, well, you're in control of liquidity. And remember, if this is an investment property and we've still got 4 years to go before this turns to principal and interest where, yes, the loan repayments may become higher, but I'll come back to that in a minute. I would be putting that money in and building that balance up. So letting that continuing to grow because each night, what's happening, Bryce?
Interest is
Each
calculated
night is
daily.
calculated daily.
Paid monthly.
So we're saving in regards to what that looks like, right? So really good to know that that's basically the way to go. Then what also you should be understanding is just because you've got a loan leaser that is set for the next few years doesn't mean that you can't reshuffle this around, right? So by that, in terms of her goal to get it down to 100% loan to value ratio, at 100%, you still can't release your mother-in-law's property as security. It really does need to get down to a global loan to value ratio of 80% to be able to release that property. So at 100% loan to value ratio, it's not really doing anything for you. So now, again, having that money sitting over here in the offset just gives you that ability to move that around because you might pick that money up and go and buy a principal home, Bryce. And then that's still okay. So it depends on what arrangements you had with your guarantor in terms of your security guarantee, whether they're happy for that to stay there in place, or if the pressure is on where you have to basically keep doing that. If the pressure's on, just trap every dollar, this surplus cash, and just keep pumping up that offset. Obviously, don't forget your rent should also be coming in here as well. If you've got no other, as I said, principal place of residence and a principal home, all the money goes into your primary offset account, which is offsetting that main home loan. Now, you've set that up at 115. So remember, at any point in time, you can restructure this. You can say, all right, well, I want to change those splits. I now want to make that $300,000 and bring that down. I may want to do a portion fixed as opposed to variable. And based on the income that you're earning in that time will be your ability to basically restructure that. So servicing is still critical in terms of how you want to do that, but you can always change those around.
Because that's an important point, is it? Because it looks like Lisa is keeping an eye on that when she's saying, hey, look, I'm 5, I'm down to 4, I'm keeping an eye on when this interest rate.
Because that's going to impact cash flow because I'm going to pay some principal, you're right. Yeah.
So, but the idea is do what's the most cost-effective, given the information, what's the most cost-effective place, because it's more expensive in that one than that one. And then at some point in time, you could restructure, as Ben said, in any number of permutations to take advantage of what you're doing at the time. But the lending landscape will change significantly probably between now and then anyway.
And what is unusual about this is usually interest-only lending would be a little bit higher. Like in terms of most pricing, so she may have those around the wrong way, but I would have sort of said in terms of, we'll double check that, but in terms of principal and interest, I would have also said, could you have gone interest only? But then there might have been a loading on interest only here as well. It's all about, you know, your circumstances right now and where you're trying to get to. So if you wanted to create more surplus cash to acquire your second investment property, then if that was the case, then I would still be considering interest only on all of these lending options because that traps more surplus and I can potentially put that money into an application for a new loan. But I don't mind the fact that this is her first property. We're reading from the information here. She's probably in her late 20s in terms of getting this conversation started. So P&I is all right. That means that she's obviously paying some of that down, which is also when you're paying your loan down in principal, you're creating equity. Okay, you are building that value up, and hopefully over time we're going to see that value of that property appreciate over the next 3 or 4 years.
Well done, Ben. Thank you, Lisa. That was a great question. Hopefully that helps you folks. We actually did a podcast episode last Thursday. It was episode number 244. Ben, I'm going to put that in the links. We'll put the link in the comments below. And what we talked about is the property finance really 101 in 2019. How's the landscape changed? What do you need to know? So if you haven't checked that out, why don't you click on the link below? And this week, Ben, every Thursday we do a podcast. This week we have got a guest who is going to tell us about the most expensive real estate in Australia. So you should check that out. So why don't you go to thepropertycouch.com.au.